you really a unicorn? Because you look like a unicorn.
Can you keep a secret?
I don't know. No one's told me a secret.
Well, I don't know. I can tell you then.
You can! You can!
I am a unicorn. You asked for this. They were right here.
Stay 2 steps ahead of death, my friend.
I see Bebop.
Gotta keep going. Stand back. No risk, no reward.
I see Bebop.
You want to buy a mug to go with your gun?
I see Billy.
I see Bebop.
Luminous strike.
I see Bebop.
I don't want to have to hurt you.
Exquisite, isn't it?
I will bring hope.
Hayes is missing. I see Hayes.
and survive.
I see Bebop.
I bring forth the light.
I can't die here.
Keep your eye on the ball, boys and girls.
Hayes is missing. I see Hayes.
Hope you win whatever fight you're about to start.
Let's shine a light.
Uh-oh.
Bebop's missing. Bebop's missing.
Bebop's missing.
Bebop's missing.
I'm heading in to steal shit.
Strong, buddy.
I see Bebop.
Hope shines on us.
Take the king's boon and be blessed.
I am not divine, but I am powerful.
I can sleep, you can die. Oh no, y'all got that.
They destroyed the Guardian on Greenwich.
Magic surrounds us.
Coming, Lash.
No more hiding.
Hayes is missing.
Oh, I'm dead as fuck.
Bebop's missing.
I bring forth the light.
They've taken our Blue Guardian.
They did something.
Holiday's missing.
Furnace is here. Coming, Calca.
People.
A Blue Walker is under attack.
Good work. It's time. You'll have to try
Coming in. No, I'm out of range, I'm a chud. Oh wait, I got a Bebop.
They've taken our yellow guardian.
That's gonna help keep your blood on the inside.
This Greenwich is under attack.
Headed to York.
Camp.
Damn it.
I see Bebop.
Okay, there's like 3 here.
Pull back.
Greenwich is under attack.
All day low?
Haze needs to be contained.
Headed to Yellow.
You're looking to survive. You came to the right place.
No more hiding. Hope shines on us.
Lore accurate Bebop.
Magic surrounds us. I am not divine, but I am powerful.
Oh, they got movement buff.
I see Infernus.
Might be time to spend.
Don't let Bebop hook you.
These are the mysteries of
She disarmed.
A blue walker is under attack. Our yellow walker is under attack. They've taken our yellow walker.
Oh, green, green, green.
I'm headed to Greenwich.
A green walker is under attack.
Haze is over here.
I see Haze.
And silver.
Here.
The urn has been dropped.
See the enemy.
time. I see haze.
Coming last.
Guess we're gonna see what happens.
I see haze.
Spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
Nice.
See the enemy. The Lash is ready to be a team player.
Two left.
No turning back.
Hold back. Headed to
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go, Blue.
Broadway is under attack.
You'll be the last one standing.
Headed to York.
Let's shine on.
Haze is missing.
Cause a little chaos.
The spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
I see Billy. See Silver.
I see haze.
Silver disarmed.
Time to start a riot.
Defend. Let's push yellow.
Wanna go push yellow?
I see Holiday.
They destroyed the water on Greenwich.
Ready to death slam.
I'm warning you.
Oh, they know ult.
I see haze.
Bought that off the Knickerbocker and was about to get his legs broken.
I won't lose.
Infernus here. I need help. I need an adult. There's a sleeping Infernus over here.
Hope shines on us. This should be good. Calico. You didn't think I forgot about earlier, did you?
Now go out there and impose your will.
No more hiding.
The hidden king grants you a boon.
I see
Cares
Inferno.
last.
It's time.
I see Holiday.
with my people.
Let's see who's still standing.
Call they going green. Push yellow, push yellow.
Made an example out of another one.
Once I trap them, they'll be easy.
The Rejuvenator is descending. They have the Rejuvenator.
I bring forth the light. What we do takes courage.
My urn.
They're running with the urn.
Okay, we just have to try and trade mid or green.
I am not divine, but I am powerful.
Someone come green, we can trade. So we can outfight that.
Sounds good.
Headed to green.
Oh, he's one. Nice.
Shine light.
Go back.
They claimed the urn.
Pull back.
Pull back.
Tell the boys at the sideshow I say hi.
Broadway is under attack.
Oh, they're mid.
Magic surrounds us.
Furnace is missing.
Sorry, West.
I see silver.
Headed to blue.
Hope shines on us.
I see silver.
Your mind and spirit will be reforged.
Going to shop.
My team is gonna put on a the light protects.
Blue needs help.
A Blue Walker is under attack.
Pull back.
Okay, let's just try and wait out rejuice. Yeah, like a minute left or something.
Haze is missing.
A little bit of the divine right here in your hot little hands.
Luminous strike. Where did that calico?
The Rejuvenator
What's the matter, Gettings? Gone out without people?
Without your help, we would be in peril.
I am not divine, but I am powerful. Hope shines on us. You're coming.
Wait, they go here?
Hope this goes as well.
I got one of them, Chud.
Let's see Lash.
Ready? To attack the best. Well, here I am.
You made me do this. Don't complain to someone else, Billy.
Come at me all you want. The result's gonna be the same.
These are the mysteries of
Celeste, you are full of surprises, aren't you?
Just got off the
Blue Walker is under attack.
Let's shine a light.
Good luck not getting shot.
Silva's missing.
Mid-boss has arrived.
We're up for mid. We can just mid.
Say the word and I will death slam the shit out of them.
Infernus is missing.
Beam up.
Night-night. Let's contribute to the chaos. I see your mermaid. This is Cherry. Just wait for the grand finale.
Disable the... Disable. Ugh. Good shit.
My resolve is endless.
The rejuvenator.
Good job. Let's push Broadway.
I like it. Headed to
I'll go clear waves. I'll push.
Okay.
We can earn 2.
It's time. Pace is missing. Thanks. Headed to yellow.
Fucking bitch.
Going to shop.
Haze is missing. Careful, Calico.
Someone's on their doubles. Two on their doubles.
The more of them, the better.
Go, I can buff you. Ooh, never mind.
I see Inferno. I see Billy. Luminous strike.
All right, I'm done playing with you.
Always under attack.
Kill Calico. He's still rejuice. We can run him down.
Your ability will have to go to the next level.
See Billy.
Okay, this is just mean. Where'd he go? There, Bebop Hug. Oh!
I bring forth the light.
Hey, is this arms?
I am not divine, but I am powerful.
And her disciples.
I like it. Magic surrounds us. Let's contribute to the chaos.
Good game.
See Holiday.
Good game.
That was fun. Well played.
Hell of a fight.
Let's do an encore.